And so, welcome back. Now, rather than going into the past, we're going into the future and removing anxiety from a future event or something that you're anxious about that's coming up, anything whatsoever. So, here's our map for removing anxiety. Now, number 1 is where we are at the present time. Number 4 is that future event. So we go from 1 and we float up, as we have been doing, and this time floating into the future. Now past the successful completion of that event at number 4. So you'll notice that that 3 is actually one step past that event. So 4 is where the anxiety lies. So we're going past that, and then bringing it down, and then bringing the feeling, the knowing of the confidence of that successful completion of that event all the way back to the present, so that we know that we've accomplished it. So that'll make a lot more sense as we get into the script right now. So, is it okay to remove the anxiety about that future event? Now, here we want to make sure why that anxiety is there. Is it there for a purpose? Is it there for a reason, a warning, whatever it is? So, does this anxiety have any positive purpose? Now, if they say yes, you'll need to do a bit of work around that. So then they're ready to release that anxiety, if they're ready to release that anxiety at all. Then I want you to float up above your timeline and look into the future. Travel to a point beyond the successful completion of that event that you've been feeling anxious about. Now, try to find the feeling of anxiety. And when you discover that you cannot, turn to look back in time. Holding on to that feeling of confidence and completion, come back to the now. And then, when you're back at the now, please try to do the old anxiety. And it's as simple as that for this one, guys. This one's pretty quick, pretty easy, and future pace at the end there to make sure that the anxiety is there or it hasn't changed into something else negative. So they might have had anxiety, but then it may just turn into straight out fear. They may get too confident, which is another thing that you don't want. But anyway, guys, now we'll have a look at a demonstration of removing anxiety from the future using timeline therapy. So now we'll go on with a demonstration of removing anxiety. But first you want the ecology to be right. You want to ask Amy a few questions, or your person a few questions, just to make sure that it's perfectly okay for you to do this, and it's not going to disrupt anything. So, is it completely okay to remove the anxiety about this presentation at work?
Yes.
Good. Now, does this anxiety have any positive purpose?
No.
Good. Okay. So now I get you to close your eyes and just float up above your timeline and look into the future. Now I want you to travel to a point beyond the successful completion of the event that you've been feeling anxious about. Now I want you to try and find that feeling of anxiety. Now when you discover that you can no longer find it, I want you to turn to look back in time. Now holding on to that feeling of confidence, I want you to come all the way back to the now. Back at now, I want you to please do the anxiety that you used to do. Try to do that old feeling of anxiety that you had towards that project. Can you do it?
No.
Doesn't work in the same way? Excellent. And it's as simple as that. Thank you, Amy. So that's removing the anxiety. You go beyond the successful completion. So you're already inputting the idea that they've completed it successfully into their mind and spurring on that feeling of confidence or whatever positive resource it is that you want to Maybe it's overjoyed. Maybe it's confidence and joy. Maybe it's feeling courageous. Whatever it is, then you want them to bring those resources back to the now and find that that anxiety no longer exists. But anyway, guys, that's it for this lesson. I will see you in the next one.